Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks again for joining me. Today I'm doing a Try It Out Tuesday video, and I get to try out something new, so I picked up this Altenew stamp set. It's called Main Squeeze, and it is a 6x8 stamp set. It's huge, but it only has 2 images on there. It's a layering stamp set, and you can create 2 different slices of some citrus fruit, and it comes with a variety of sentiments. And I did pick up the coordinating dies. Now this is what the fruit looks like. You can create fun, very detailed citrus fruits. And I thought this would be so neat because you could do oranges, you could do limes, lemons, grapefruits. Today I'm going to do a blood orange because I like the rich color of that. So we're going to start off. I grabbed my mini stamp platform here, and we're going to grab the solid images. We're going to place them on a piece of white cardstock, and we'll just pick those up. And we're going to start off by stamping with the lightest color. I'm going to use my Stampin Up Inks for these, and so I started off with my crushed curry here. Once we have that stamped, we're going to grab the second layer. Now I kind of I'm leaving this in because I learned a lesson actually, and I didn't want you guys, if you do like this stamp set, I didn't want you to make the same mistake. But I'm actually lining up the wedges that are on the citrus fruit. Now that's the wrong thing to do. You should actually be lining up the little seeds that are on there. Those are a great reference point, because after I got all the stamping done, it wasn't as pretty as the picture behind the die package. But my next color I used was Delightful Dijon. Stamped that a few times, and now I'm going to go in with my third layer. And again, I'm not lining it up with the seeds like I'm supposed to. I'm actually lining up the wedges. And I ended up drowning out my seeds so you couldn't see it, and then the detail wasn't as nice as the one on the pictures. So next I'm using some Watermelon Wonder. I cleaned off my stamps there, and then I'm going to grab the fourth layer. This fourth layer is I'm going to use Cajun Craze. Just place that on there. I went through this whole process too because I wanted to show you the colors that I used. But this is the third color, and boy, this just really made it pop, but not as much as I wanted it to. So we're going to do it again, and I actually went 4 pieces of fruit. 2 large and 2 small. So again, we're going to ink up our solid first image with my crushed curry here. I did have to, since it is a solid image, I did have to stamp it a few times. Now since I went 2, I'm just going to take my panel, flip it over in my platform, and then stamp it a few more times again. And I got to move my magnet because it wasn't a good spot. Again, we'll just ink that up. Okay, so there's my first layer. Now we're going to grab the second layer. Now this time I'm going to use the seeds as a reference, and this outcome turned out so much nicer. So we're just going to do the exact same thing with the large and the small. Place our image lining up those seeds, and then I'm going to grab my Delightful Dijon, and I'm just going to repeat the process. Now, third layer I used Watermelon Wonder, and then now this is the fourth layer where I went in with the Cajun Craze. And I was able to, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I was able to tell the difference when I lined the seeds up. For one, you could see the seeds, and then 2, you could see the little pulp. And I thought that was so neat. But I loved the rich color that turned out. So those are our images. I'm just going to take the coordinating dies and die cut out all 4 pieces here. Okay, now we're going to set those aside, and we're going to work on our background panel. For our background panel, I grabbed a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock. Now this is a stencil from C&CT Stamp. It's the leaf stencil, and I thought it was beautiful. I'm going to place that at a diagonal on this panel, and then flip it over. I'm going to use some purple tape to secure it to that panel. And then I'm going to grab some Nouveau Glimmer Paste. I haven't did this in a while and I really love this color. This is Moonstone. It's a really pretty golden iridescent color, and I thought it would really pick up the colors in the fruit. So I'm just going to smear that over my panel, just like you're kind of spreading frosting. It's kind of fun. Lovely, almost done. And this stuff dries really fast. But once we have that done, I'm going to clean off my spatula, because once it dries really good. And then I'm going to pick up my stencil carefully, and then I'll clean off my stencil. I had to stop and then come back because I didn't want that to dry on there. But I have a little piece sticking up here, so I'm going to remove that with my craft pick. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside to dry, and like I said, it does dry really fast. But while it is drying, we're going to work on some leaves. So I got some Peel Paint Distress Oxide ink, and I'm using the same Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to add a little bit of color here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of Wild Honey. I really wanted to pick up some of the oranges and that citrus that we colored in. Now these two colors look like a hot mess right now, but it really does blend beautifully when you put it all together, I promise. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water to activate that ink. Give it a little bit of texture. I'm just using my towel because I'm not very patient. I'm just going to pick that ink up. Now this die here is from Paper Smooches, and it's called Foliage 1. And I thought it coordinated with the Simon Says Stamp stencil beautifully. So I'm going to cut out 3 leaf flourishes. And by this time my panel is nice and dry. So I grab my double stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to cut out my panel. My panel here is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's going to leave me a little bit of a border on my card base. And I think that looks so pretty. I'm just going to tape this directly to my card base, right in the center. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to grab the sentiment. I chose You're the Zest, and I'm going to ink it up with my Cajun Craze. It's the darkest color that I use for my citrus fruit there. And I thought that fit perfectly. Okay, now we're going to arrange our little fruit pieces. I'm going to start off by adhering one directly to my card base here. And then I wanted to spread out that color a little bit, so I'm actually going to cut this next one in half. Just trying to figure out where I want to put it, and I think on the top right is going to be a perfect place for it. The second piece I'm going to trim down a little bit more and place it pretty close to my sentiment. I need to take off a little bit more just to add a little bit more color. And then these I'm going to pop up with foam squares. Now I'm only going to add one right now, but later on, once I have my elements all put in place, I did add more to stabilize it. I like just adding one because this way I could tuck the leaves underneath while I figure out my placement. Now to add my leaves, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue towards the bottom. And then I just arranged all my leaves around my little fruits. And then I'm going to add a little bit of detail to my little seeds by adding a little bit of white with my Uniball white gel pen. Now when I did this and it dried, it took on the color. So my seeds weren't white. They were actually like a light orange, but it kind of turned out pretty. Now we need a little bit of shimmer, so I decided to go in with some pretty pink Posh Jewels. These are buttercream. They're really pretty and they come in a variety of sizes. And I'm just using my glue and I'm going to add them to my card base. And then that's it for my card today. I think it was so fun, something different. I think it'd be a nice little friendship card, but I really enjoyed. I think this would be really fun to play with. If I had more of a variety of yellows, I think a lemon would be real gorgeous with this too. But thanks so much for stopping by. I hope this gives you an idea on how to use your citrus fruit if you have them. But have a fantastic day, guys. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.